What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we are now under 1 month until Avengers Endgame comes out. It officially comes out in my country on the 25th of April. It is the 26th of March, so we are less than 1 month away. But for some reason, people are getting worried that there's not going to be multiple Marvel movies coming after Avengers Endgame. Well, that is factually incorrect because there is at least 6 movies that we already know about that is coming in the next phase of Marvel, which will be phase 4. And that is before you even consider that Disney have just acquired Fox. So there's going to be so many Marvel movies coming your way, whether it be movies or Disney streaming service TV shows. So let's break it down. So guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel based videos. And also we are giving away a Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet at the end of March. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and let me know down below, what are you most looking forward to after Avengers Endgame? So the last chance to win is on the 31st of March, which is this coming Sunday, and I will announce it on the first video in April. Yeah, I know, ironically it could be an April Fool video, maybe, possibly. So we've got Avengers Endgame, which will bring an end to everything, and possibly it could open the multiverse up. We could go different timelines. There's multiple ways that they could do this. So we know we have Spider-Man Far From Home coming in July, obviously, but they're being a bit bleak with the details. Obviously, everyone thinks it's coming out after Endgame in real time in July, because that's what the paper says in the trailer. July, that's literally when the movie is. So everyone thinks it is set after Endgame. It could be. Most people still think it's set before Avengers Infinity War, and that Peter Parker never got off the bus. I don't really understand where this theory actually came from, but it is a pretty cool theory. So there is at least 6 movies already announced, but unofficially announced. But basically, we know they're coming. So we have Spider-Man Far From Home. That would be number 1. We have the Eternals movie, which they're being a bit skeptical about the details. We know it's going to be set hundreds of thousands a year before most of the MCU movies were made. Actually, all of them were made. And we know it's going to have something to do with Thanos's, I guess you could say, ancestors, so to speak. They are being really bleak with the details about that movie, but it does look pretty interesting. But if I am to be honest, for me, it's one of the movies I'm not really that interested in at the moment, because they just haven't really revealed that much about the movie yet. But I'm sure when they get more into development, it will start to pick up pace. And then obviously we have, these are in no particular order because we don't know which order they're coming in. So the Black Widow movie is going to start shooting sometime soon. We know at the moment, we understand the storyline is going to be set in the past, in the year 2000, when the Y2K bug was around, and potentially Taskmaster is supposed to be the villain for that movie. Obviously, because Black Widow is the main star of this movie, it can't be a villain with voodoo powers or magical powers or someone insanely OP, because that just wouldn't make any factual sense for that to happen. Then we have Black Panther 2, which will be coming at some point, which is going to be pretty interesting. They've got a very interesting slot there, because obviously now Marvel owns Fox. We could introduce the XMen, and obviously in the comic books there was a storyline when T'Challa got with Storm, so maybe that's how they could introduce the X-Men. They could have T'Challa getting with Storm in some capacity. We know that Ryan Coogler, who directed the first movie, is set to direct the second movie, so that is going to be pretty cool. But obviously before that, Black Panther has to return from being dusted, so to speak. And also we've just found out that apparently Shuri is also dusted, which didn't really make any sense to me, if I'm honest, but we just got to roll with it, because I personally think that's a mislead. Like, they're misleading us to preserve the heritage of the movie. Like, interesting enough. And then we have Doctor Strange 2, which they've been teasing a lot. There's been like unofficially confirmed that, you know, Nightmare could be the villain of that movie, which is very interesting. Nightmare would be a good pick, although Mordo would be a pretty cool pick because he was in the first Doctor Strange movie. So potentially that's the thing with Doctor Strange, is there is so many different ways they could go with the Doctor Strange movie, because he's so powerful and it's such a fantastic, interesting character. And then obviously we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now that movie should have already been made, but obviously because James Gunn's got fired, but he didn't get fired, now he's back, but obviously he's got to shoot Suicide Squad 2 first. So the earliest date you're looking at for that movie is probably somewhere around 2022. So if I was a betting person, I would say obviously Spider-Man Far From Home comes out in July. Then I would put Black Widow after that one because they seem to be fast-tracking most of that. Then I would put the Eternals movie, but only because we've got a lot of information about that. I'd put that somewhere around 2020, but only if they pick up pace, because obviously we're nearly midway into 2019, but there is still a long time. Then I'd put Black Panther and Doctor Strange 2 to 2021, because that makes sense. Obviously, Black Panther and Doctor Strange 2 coming out the same year. And then I would set Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 somewhere around 2022. But this isn't even including everything that they could potentially do. But they are, in theory, the confirmed ones. And obviously, there's going to be Captain Marvel 2, which I suppose wouldn't come out till after all of them. Maybe 2022. Somewhere around there would make sense. So that's just what we know so far is factually correct. There's so much information out there. And this is before we talk about the X-Men or Fantastic Four or Deadpool. Obviously, I don't think they're going to leave it to 2022 before they make an MCU Deadpool movie. But obviously we know, due to Bob Iger, etc., that they're not going to tarnish that character. Obviously, Kevin Feige is very much looking forward to getting his hands back for the first time on these properties and implementing them with the MCU, because we know the MCU is going to be going cosmic. Very interesting time. Now, hopefully, because James Gunn is back in the squad for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, hopefully that means Adam Warlock could potentially be coming into that movie. It would be so awesome. So at the moment, that is pretty much everything that is being confirmed. But obviously, like I said, they will drop an X-Men movie. They will drop a Deadpool movie. They will drop a Fantastic Four movie. It's just a case they don't really need to rush, because obviously they're going to have all these fantastic new villains coming through, like Doctor Doom, Galactus, etc. They can have the Magneto storyline with Charles. There's so much coolness. So obviously at some point Deadpool 3 will be coming, but it's going to be a fact as will they PG-13 it? If you remember, there was once upon a Deadpool, well, at least there was in like America, etc. But in England, it was still a 15, so it was pretty redundant for us because like teenagers couldn't watch it unless you were 15. So it literally made absolutely no sense. And obviously, there will be Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 or Ant-Man 3, because we know there has been talks behind the scenes. Michael Douglas initially literally said in the public that they are talking about a third Ant-Man movie. So that literally solidifies that Ant-Man, Wasp, Ghost, well, maybe not Ghost, but Ant-Man, Wasp, Janet Van Dyne will be safe. But what would be really cool would be if there was some kind of, I guess, Wolverine and Logan movie inside the MCU. Now, yes, as you guys know, the Logan movie made me cry. But it would be pretty cool if they could somehow make that movie, because obviously this isn't the same universe. But if they do recast Hugh Jackman, then it wouldn't be as bad. But I don't think anyone could replace him except for Zac Efron, which obviously I fan cast him for absolutely everything. So there is so much coming. And then obviously at some point, Nova's been rumored to be in Avengers Endgame. But I don't really think they're going to put Nova in Avengers Endgame, if I'm quite honest. But yes, there was the Lego leak with the Nova set, and obviously Nova's been in so many plot leaks for Avengers Endgame, so Nova could appear, sure, yeah. Everyone seems to want a Nova movie. I'm not really that keen, but that could happen. And also ShangChi, who is essentially a master of Kung Fu. I'm not really that familiar with the source material, but it is literally confirmed. So it would be pretty cool. He's created by the same person, well, co-created by the same person that made Thanos, Jim Starling. So Shang-Chi is the master of Kung Fu. But literally, he's good at Kung Fu. So a Kung Fu-based movie for the MCU would be a very different direction. We've not had that. But I'm not that familiar with his source material. I don't believe he has any superpower abilities. However, I think he's pretty much just an expert at like combat, fighting, military-based things, stuff like that, which would be pretty cool. I'm quite looking forward to that. But I'm pretty sure that is it for Phase 4 that we know so far. But like I said, Kevin Feige could announce literally 20 more movies. And that's pretty much what he will be doing at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. So like always, guys, if I got anything wrong, let me know down below. I'm always opposed to getting criticism if it's constructive. But I'm pretty sure that's all the movies announced so far for Phase 4, which isn't technically announced properly, but we know they're in the works. They have been working on literally every movie I've said, except for the Disney Fox properties, but it's only a matter of time before they can officially come out and say them. But obviously, as we know, they're not going to say anything about what's happening next until the movie Spider-Man Far From Home has come out, because it doesn't make any sense to talk about it till after them stuff. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will catch you in that next video very soon. Catch ya later.